Almost 1 year ago we bought our first EVA 1. We actually had serial number 1 in Europe. I think 2 or 3 weeks later we bought the second EVA 1 for our company because we were so happy with the camera system. Now, after almost a year of using, and I don't know how many productions we did, but I can't count it anymore, now is the time where we can say we do know all the problems and all the good sides of the camera, and that's why today we want to share all these points with you. So this is pros and cons of the EVA 1. The worst feature of the EVA 1 is the very bad monitor. It's hard to judge colors, focus and brightness, and the monitor actually is more like a mirror than anything else. You will watch yourself instead of an image.
One of my favorite features of the GH5 has always been the quick custom mode. So you can save up different profiles, and with the press of one button you can completely change the whole camera settings. With the EVA 1 that's a little bit more complicated. For example, if you want to go from full HD slow motion to 4K recording, you have to scroll through a lot of menus, and that's just annoying.
The focus peaking of the EVA 1 is good enough. But whenever you will move the camera or you've got a moving subject in your frame, the focus peaking will just disappear because of the motion blur, which it can't detect anymore. In combination with the very bad monitor, you won't be able to judge focus precisely.
Of course, the EVA 1 is meant to be used with an external microphone. It has the XLR inputs, and the internal microphones are more or less only for reference. But even for that, the quality is just bad. What you're hearing right now is the EVA 1 sound, and that's even worse than the GH5 internal microphones.
Most of the issues of the EVA 1 can easily be fixed by buying additional gear. You can buy a second monitor to be able to judge focus way better. You can buy an additional microphone. But many of these parts will need additional energy, which the EVA 1 can't supply. In the end, you will need a V-mount battery, for example, and there's a big problem. On the back of the EVA 1, where you usually put a V-mount battery, there are all the outputs: SDI, XLR inputs, HDMI out. So it's not possible to put a V-mount battery right there. So you do need a rigging system, so you can take the V-mount battery way out the camera. In the end, you will get a very heavy, bulky camera system, and you get a lot of cables running alongside your camera body, which makes it very uncomfortable to use.
One of the best features of the EVA 1 is the dual ISO, so you can shoot with a base ISO of 800 or 2500. That enables you, for example, to shoot better in low light, but also if you're using the camera on a gimbal, you can close the aperture to get a wider depth of field.
When I started shooting video professionally, I was working on a Canon 5D. And in this time I bought a lot of lenses. And now the EVA 1 is one of the first cameras which actually interested me and had a native EF mount. And it's not only good for me because I can use all the old lenses I've got. I can even go to rental houses and rent all the photo lenses they have, which usually are EF mounts.
Especially for me as a gimbal operator, it's very important that the camera is not too heavy. The EVA 1 itself only weighs 1.25 kilograms, so that's extremely light and makes my work very comfortable.
The EVA 1 does have a 5.7K sensor. What happens inside the camera is that the camera takes the 5.7K, reads out every line, and from this point it creates a 4K image. You don't lose any part. You get the whole sensor readout, but you get a better debayering. In the end, you will get a very contrasty, very sharp, very good image.
The EVA 1 has the feature to output 5.7K RAW to an external recorder like the Atomos Shogun Inferno. It will be recorded in ProRes RAW, which is right now only supported by Final Cut.
One of the things I like the most about the EVA 1 is the very good color science. You can use the V-Log profile, which gets out, I think, 14 stops of dynamic range. And you get beautiful skin tones, and you still have a lot of possibilities to change colors in post. And for me personally, you get a look, quality which is similar to cameras like Ariel Alexa or very good RED cameras for a very low price. We would like to know, what do you like about the EVA 1? Have you used it already? Do you have questions? Do you have any weird problems you had to deal with? Just write it down in the comments. See you soon. Bye bye.